Hey, chestnuts. Now this is a very special game. The queen sack. Ooh. Well, queen sacks are not, there's a pretty common trope, but this one's a pretty cool queen sack that um Caruana did in the against Nakamura in the London Chess Classic 2016. So, yep. All right, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. So the first move is E4. Oh, okay, that's not really a special move, but E4 is there. C5, F3, D6, D4. So looking like a standard, gonna be a standard Najdorf. Knight takes, F6, knight to C3. This is all super standard. Now we have the Najdorf right here. Bishop to G5, E6, F4, right? H6, take this bishop away, bishop to H4, queen to B6. And now we have A3. But Caruana, why? Why would you play A3? Can't you just capture this pawn? Well, that would run into knight to A4 exclam. And uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Can't go to any of those squares because they're blocked by a piece. Of course, you can't take this knight because it's queen right here. Alrighty. So instead of doing that and giving up his queen, decided to play bishop to E7. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, pretty cool. And then afterwards, bishop to F2 is played, putting it on this diagonal. Right? Queen to C7, and you still can't play this move because it's the same idea. Gonna get trapped. Right, so queen to C7 and queen to F3, knight to D7, and then castle queenside. You know, when you castling queenside, gonna go for the throat right there, you know. And then like what anybody, this is probably the most natural move, the position for an attacking player to play B5. Right, so that's what Nakamura did. You know, it's standard move in this position. G4, you have to be attacking if you're gonna castle queenside like this. Then G5, all right, to stop that advance. And then the next move here is H4. What Caruana could do is put this bishop to G2, right? So it could be on this diagonal. After which rook B8, right? Or also play F5, but this would run into knight to E. This would give knight to E5 to black, and this is a really good position. The knight. It's as radiant as the sun. All right, so that's not played. Then you could also play. And then you could also, but okay, so what Caruana chose is to play H4. Pretty good contesting this pawn. Okay, continuing the attack. Alright, so this is a pretty cool game. Caruana usually plays like Rosalimo, and he's here going all out Najdorf. Alright, G takes F4. Boom, boom. Pretty good. Bishop to E2. And, I mean, I guess white can also play bishop to H3. Which is alright, although it's less flexible than bishop to E2, which Caruana chose, right? Because here we just be attacking this diagonal. Alright. After bishop to E2, Nakamura chose B4, trying to open up the position. You could also play D5, and it's super complicated. Oh man, if you play D5, perhaps Perhaps white can go g5, then knight to e5. The square is free now. Queen goes to g2. Right, it's probably not a good idea to capture this pawn because this knight move, that's queen, baby. That's a queen for me. So queen goes to g2. Then goes to g2. Then, oh, bishop takes h3. Wow, it could be super crazy. And although this is actually not too bad for white, even though it looks super scary. This pawn takes, right? Queen can capture this knight. Okay, it looks doesn't it's not that bad. White still has some play, but I guess it's super dangerous, and so that line perhaps wouldn't be chosen. Maybe bishop to e1 it would go. b4 attacking this knight. Knight capture. If the knight goes back to b1, okay, bishop takes here, and then oh man, this is just it's crazy. Knight would take this, then the position would just be super complicated. All right, so b4. All right, Nakamura did not choose the super complicated d5. Instead, he chose b4, which makes a lot of sense and what a lot of people would do. Keep trying to attack this file and try to attack this king, right? So a takes b4, then knight to e5. Now that this square is free, queen takes f4, then knight takes here, bishop takes, then e5. All right, forking these two. Now it looks like, you know, it's just gonna be a normal game, or not normal, but it's just going to continue fairly normally, where queen maybe would move away, queen to d2, you know, and then this bishop would take, right? Then you go knight f5. If bishop takes d1 or rook d to f1, right, to put this rook away. So it would just look like a fairly standard game. But what was chosen was bum 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 quadruple exclam. Queen takes f6. This is probably Caruana's greatest queen sack because it's pretty crazy move. It leads to a line that Caruana claims that the engine cannot evaluate, so you kind of have to use your own personal calculation skills. All right, bishop takes f6. Then knight goes to d5 attacking. All right, queen to d8. Then knight to f5. What Nakamura was expecting was this move trapping the queen, right? Which, you know, makes a lot of sense. You would get your position back. So then maybe after bishop takes, his queen can't go anywhere. After bishop takes, then knight takes, and then it looks pretty good. Takes d8. This looks pretty good for white, right? After all the pieces have been captured. This looks pretty good for both sides. It's okay. Like it's definitely playable. Definitely playable. But you didn't expect this craziness, which was knight to f5. Oh! So instead of just gaining the material back and having a fairly even game, all right, Caruana saw that white gets an immense advantage. I mean, I don't know how he saw this. This is pretty crazy. Like, you get an immense advantage by putting the knight here, and I mean, you can see it. All right. I mean, it's not like it's a myth or anything. Like you can see it after you do it. But to play this against a top player, it takes a lot of nerve. All right. So knight to f5, and then next move would rook b8. All right. If you capture this, it's white is still winning, but let's see. But black can still play, right? This was not chosen, but it's actually fairly playable. But white still wins. Bishop takes, rook b8, rook d3, rook to b5, c4, and rook takes this because you don't. I mean, you don't want this knight to stay here, right? Might as well give. You should give the exchange in this. It's just white has way too much space and it doesn't look like black can go anywhere. So here, giving it the exchange, rook takes. Okay, finally there's some breathing room now that really sometimes knights can be as strong or even stronger than rooks if they're on a really good square. Now this queen has some breathing room. Rook h to d1, putting a lot of pressure here. Okay, this is still all hypothetical, but it could have happened if Nakamura capture that. D takes, B takes, then castle here because this is looking pretty dangerous. File, there's some insane tactics. Castle, bishop to e3, going after this. So here, black is still pretty much losing. File is open, but yeah, it's still pretty much losing. But let's see what happens in the actual game. After this, so he did not take with f, chose to continue possibly getting some counterplay, which is pretty logical actually. Then bishop takes, and then whoops. Next move is knight takes f6, then queen takes f6, and then rook takes d6. Actually, knight takes d6 is pretty interesting because it can give you a lot of tactics and it's super difficult to figure out what to do. For example, if maybe queen goes to e7, could be bishop to c5, putting this diagonal, and then queen goes here for this check into b1 because you don't want some tactics on your queen, right? So might as well put her in a position where you can here, and then queen would capture this. Knight takes c8 check, king to e8, knight to d6 check, and then after which king goes here. King goes to f8, knight to f5, because you don't really want to put your king on this where it's gonna be a captured. It's gonna be a discovered attack with a rook, right? So king goes here, knight to f5 check, into g8. Then rook g1 pinning the queen, and it's just a really big advantage for white. This bishop is looking really strong. This knight it's just resignable position. If king goes here back, then rook h to g1 for a better position. Queen goes to h3, trying to infiltrate, and then there's this mate. So all right. So knight takes d6 was good, but it's probably super complicated and really difficult to see over the board. And I can understand why Caruana would see. I would probably even play rook takes this. And now this queen is being attacked, and white's position just looks really dominant. The next would be bishop to e6. Then rook h to d1. Castle. Then h5, making a way for this bishop to enter the game, right? That looks pretty devastating. if bishop to e3, this is possible too. Bishop to e3 goes to h8, knight takes h6, then queen takes, or if you queen takes, knight to f5, then queen goes back to defend, and then bishop goes back, and then now you have this rook threatening. Right, rook takes, and then yeah, that's just losing. Now you're gonna lose your queen, and white has a bishop here. Uh-oh. If bishop captures, um, this is actually like, if this line actually could be played, and it's not super bad for black. It's tough to see, of course, but if Nakamura did see this, 8, 6 to d3. I mean, you're still gonna try to win the queen, but maybe you could try to play for a draw. It still looks losing, but you could try. d3, try to trade, rook takes, queen takes. This is yeah. Check. That would not be good. This one. Alright, that was my first instinct, right? Okay. But yeah, rook to g1 pinning, and then queen takes. And then, I mean, white has the bishop pair. And then this pawn structure is not so good. So black could try for a draw. It's still probably losing, but black could still try. Takes this, and then not as clear as what transpired. Okay. H5 was played. And then next we have queen to g5 check, and bishop to e3 blocking. All right, possibly stopping any bishop to h4 ideas. Okay, so bishop to e3 blocks. Queen to f6, knight takes h6 check, king to h8, then bishop f5, 7, repositioning. Then here b5 is played, but and the next move, queen goes back, and then here knight takes s7 check. But it could have actually been played a move earlier. This wins the game. It could have actually been played a move earlier. So even before this b5 move, say knight takes f7 check, queen takes f7, then rook takes e6, goes back to g8, h6 check, king to g7, rook to g1 check, f7, right? Or if rook takes here, we have rook takes e6, queen takes this. This is pretty cool stuff. Rook e8, e1 check. King hides behind. Possibly just blocks. Try to get all its positions off. Bishop to e6 check. f8. 5 check, which is an exclam. Pretty cool. Queen takes c5. And rook takes this check. 7. Rook takes g7 check. Then if king takes e6, there's this awesome mate. So that would not happen. Instead, you would probably go back to d6, right? Then rook takes b8, queen to e3 check, goes to b1, queen captures this, and then rook to b Awesome tactics. Rook to b6, check. Oh yeah, this is just winning for white, you know, this pawn's gonna promote, right? Yeah, so the awesome tactic was him getting made earlier. This is just completely winning. Oh yeah, if he took this bishop earlier, of course it still runs into that same mate. Okay. So, right. Position, and then now Caruana finally sees this knight to F knight takes move. Okay, and then Nakamura chose rook takes here. And takes e6. Queen takes b5, you know, like we saw in the other line that could have happened as well. And then rook to h6, check. And Nakamura threw in the towel. Oh no. But why, Nakamura? Why? Well, he probably saw something like this. King to g8, g1 check. Okay. He goes to f8, rook to h8 check. So it kind of looks like what we already went through. King to e7, rook takes b8. This is pretty cool stuff. Queen takes b8, d5 check, king to d8, and you win the queen. Yay! c7, rook takes b8, and this is just can't do anything. Not possible. It's not true. That's impossible. So if this rook cannot stop this pawn from queening, right? Like there are no squares here. Tries to go here, the bishop, right? It just can't be. You just can't stop it. So let's say bishop to d6 check, king goes to b7, h6, and then that's all she wrote. Alrighty. So this is what happened. The London Chess Club. And after this, Caruana actually said that he didn't really see much in this game. I mean, I don't know what he means by that. Maybe he thought he was playing very intuitively, but he said that he didn't see much, and that he thought he just had a dominating position after that queen sack. So I don't know. I mean, there seemed to be a lot of stuff in it. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's it. If you like this video, you know, hit that subscribe button like a clock. Smash it if you will. You know, if you're one of those types of chess players, you know, hit the like button if you want. It's up to you. And we'll see you next time.